Welcome everybody to another Rap Cave side quest. I love calling these side quests side missions. First time guest actually. First time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
First person outside the crew. Well, I did call Jeff on the last one.
Oh, you did that?
Yeah, I did.
Why didn't
that.
you clip it?
I got on YouTube.
See, man.
I'm gonna clip
fuck with
it.
you.
I'm gonna clip it. I'm gonna clip it just for at least just for the Twitter page because I was
Do
clipping
it for
a couple
everything
things today.
At least for
But that was a good one. I had to call Jeff, Mr. OVO, and see how
How'd
he
that
was
go?
doing. He was good. It was good, but you know what? It didn't necessarily age well because that was not even hours, less than an hour before J. Cole hit the stage, which is why we're here. Shout out to guys, they couldn't make it. Chris, Adi, and Amr couldn't make it, so I just had to get something out here. I did the quick reaction, and that wasn't enough because this J. Cole apology is something we've never seen.
It's wild.
So the context of it, we finished the recording last night, and 10 minutes later, J. Cole goes on stage. So we start watching the Dreamville stream, and he's killing the set. He's bringing out Jeremiah. He's bringing out Black. He's doing his thing. And
How was the set itself?
Oh, the set was fire. The set was fire. It was a dope ass. It was a dope ass set, and the thing is that he was killing it, and he kept bringing out Benny. He kept bringing out all of these people, and I was like, okay, he's really not performing any of his own records. And then get to the end, and this was what we talked about on the pod. We talked about when is he going to perform 7-minute drill. I said he's going to close with it. You're on your home turf. This is the time. Like, everybody's going to be gassed up.
Yeah.
And I took it a step further, and I was like, you know what? Because that was a jab, maybe because he knew Dreamville Fest, his festival, he had it lined up to where he was going to jab him with the record, and then on Sunday, on his performance, either acapella some shit or drop another diss track, like preview it live, like on stage. And then that's like the real punch. But we didn't get that. Instead, Easy, we got an apology, a sincere apology, an apology that I've never seen in rap. And J. Cole, I tried looking up the transcript of it because it was like a 5-minute thing. Yeah. And there wasn't a transcript of it, but it was essentially along the lines of him saying that he was gassed up into doing it by the people around him, and that when he released the record 7-minute drill, he was very distraught by the social media interactions and engagement and the conversations that were developing from there.
Yeah.
And that it didn't sit right with his spirit because he respects Kendrick. He respects his catalog, which he dissed. He respects Kendrick's greatness, that he's honored to be competing with Drake and Kendrick. These are his exact words. Mm-hmm. And that it felt like the worst shit he ever did in his career. He said he felt lame for doing it. Felt like it was the lamest shit ever. So, Easy. I'm texting the group chat. I'm texting several group chats at that point. But our group chat, for when we're heavyweights,
I didn't even know what was going on. I was so confused.
Yeah.
I thought you were at a concert, the way, like, everything was going down in the chat.
I was watching it. I was just watching it. But, like, Spencer was like, no fucking way. This is real.
Bro, it's insane.
It didn't sound real.
Bro, I didn't realize it at the time. But, like, we talked about it on the phone, like, I've been bumping the new album. The new album's like fabulous, especially if you're like a rap head. Like, you just want to listen to some rap. Yeah. It was a phenomenal album. But like after that, that's like the suicide part of it. Pause if you're not allowed to say that word. I apologize. But like none of those lines hit the same, bro. Like
don't.
Nothing about him rapping about him being the best. People being he's the one people fear on the low ski. Like all those bars that hit and that you got stuck like saying around the house doing whatever you were doing. None of it hits the same at all anymore.
At all.
None of it. And like that's the other part of it too. You put it perfectly on the clip that you put out there. Is like it's finally the chance for him to establish himself or at least gain ground on that top 3 list.
Yeah.
Right? And there's that opportunity. That's his whole determination too on the album, talking about how hungry he is. So like this is his time, all that stuff. And then bro, it just none of it hits the same.
I'm not Muhammad Ali. I'm not the 2 or the 3. Like Cole was talking specifically about his place, and he was putting out an impressive catalog of records back to back to back. Like, he was rapping at a very high point, and I know everybody wants to be so immediate reaction. This doesn't end his career. Like this.
I don't know, bro. I really don't.
No, cause come on, bro. Like,
bro,
like the
everything
Pusha
he
T
says,
Drake shit. Like there was like the first 24 hours, everybody's like, oh my god, how does Drake ever make music again? You know what? People forget.
but that's
they
different.
Move on.
That's somebody taking shots at you. This is you going back on
Taking
your own
yourself
words.
out.
Yeah, on like everything that you say, like that drives you. And I do get from the standpoint of like, because I've been in a situation where like, it'd be way easier to be spiteful and do something stupid and possibly make things worse for me. Mm-hmm. Maybe you look at that too. And obviously ruin relationships and whatever, versus like just doing the right thing. And then I chose to do the right thing. And then it took time. I'm talking about the podcast really, but like I ended up prospering, like going places where I wanted to be. And it's like, damn, like I just kept my head down and kept my nose clean and again, doing the right thing, put my energy in the right places, and it blessed me. Well, he said that. He put that in the speech kind of as like, yo, I was on a path by God. Or whatever he had said, I in tune, whatever words he chose to use. He essentially said he's kind of doing right by himself and like his true purpose or whatever. And he felt like he distracted or got in the way of that and got off path of it with this because he was, again, peer pressure and whatnot, which I totally understand that. But in this situation, this context, like, I feel like it really was a little bit of career suicide. It wasn't somebody else saying shit about you, because somebody's always gonna say something bad about you.
Yeah,
they're not, especially in a beef. They're never gonna say like, I mean, J. Cole compliment somebody.
Dude,
obviously,
you seen how people jumped out the window when J. Cole said that thing about Kendrick's catalog. Did you see how many people jumped out the woodwork? And we're gonna get to who owes apologies and all of that stuff, but it's these fans will ride for their artists. They'll ride for their guy, and it doesn't end his career though, because what the difference is. Like, the only comparable thing I seen Ebro trying to compare it to Jay-Z apologizing, but you know what? Jay-Z made Super Ugly, where he took it far and he said, God. I left the condom on your baby mama's back seat, like shit like that. Like, J. Cole didn't do anything disrespectful like that.
They made up.
Yeah.
Nas and Jay-Z made up after that.
Yeah.
That was such a distasteful record. His mom, his own mother, made him call the radio to apologize about the record and whatnot. Like, they made up from that. J. Cole didn't have to do any of this.
Because it didn't go that far. So the comparable situation to me, and ironically it involves Kendrick, and there's a lot of people that apologize to Kendrick. J. Cole's not the first.
I hate that part of it too.
Macklemore. But you know what? The difference between J. Cole and Macklemore, J. Cole makes good music. He'll be all right. He'll be all right.
I guess now though he's kind of solidified.
Legacy.
Yes, he's solidified in that bronze spot now for damn sure.
That's what I'm saying.
And even if he's not taking out, even if he's not career suicide, he's definitely taking out the top 3.
Yeah, because I look again. I all jokes aside, I tweeted out I'm gonna be bipolar this week because I'm gonna crack jokes one hand, but on the other hand, I do respect as a man. Like, putting yourself in a position that you unfortunately feel like you regret it in hindsight. Yeah. And like, it takes a man to be accountable for his actions. I thought he went about it. I didn't agree with everything he said and how he said it, and we'll get into parts I disagree with. But from a general perspective, I respect the man and the human being that he is. Look, if you're competing as human beings, J. Cole's got the gold medal in that beef. Like, J. Cole is definitely the nicest and the best person of all of them, and I hope to one day have a conversation with them. But you talked greasy on records for years on wax, and then you tucked your tail on your home turf, played your softest song, bigged up your competition. And
stop softening the song. It was a good song.
It's a good song. I'm not saying it's not. It's one of my favorite J. Cole songs.
But it's like a peaceful song.
But like,
Love Yours.
Yeah, but you know what? That's a real soft song to play. And when people are expecting 7-minute drill and you come out with Love Yours was crazy. Them tough talk bars, like you said, are never gonna be the same. Because
are we surprised he did that though? I mean, I guess in general.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. I'm surprised now.
But it wasn't in theme with the message he was trying to put out though.
Because the record didn't sound like it was jazz. But again, that's why I think this is so crazy, because I don't see how Cole doesn't process it as, and maybe it's because I'm like not the artist and I'm not in the situation, maybe I would get sensitive about whatever is said about me. But like nobody expected this to be like beef. Like nobody expected Kendrick and Cole to like not like each other after this was over.
Yeah, there's a couple of jabs.
Because they have relationships. Matter of fact, Kendrick barely took any shots at Cole. It was mainly about Drake.
Hold on. It was mainly about Drake.
I'm not saying,
but the Melly Mel line, that was at Cole. I mean, that's the guy who was accused for killing his friend.
Yeah, Melly Mel, and like also again like the fuck the big three, because that's what J. Cole brought up, and like like shit like that. So it was an indirect shot at Cole. But
because we say fuck keeping friends, I'll crash this bitch out on Melly Mel if I had to or some shit.
Well, no, that was a line about just like how Melly Mel just like hates Kendrick and he hates like all rap and whatever, and it's just basically like Melly Mel tried to beef with Eminem, and basically Kendrick's saying like, hey, Melly Mel is like an OG in rap.
I thought he was talking about
Melly.
Yeah.
Oh no. Because I was like, where are you going with this killing?
Okay, so who's Melly Mel?
Melly Mel he's like a prestigious rapper, like literally one of the first like pioneers.
Is he
of rap.
relevant though?
Like, yeah, like I mean, like Grandmaster Flash, like all that shit. Like,
no, is he relevant now? Is he part of the conversation?
No, it hasn't been relevant for years. Dude's like 60, but yoked though. By the way, like
he might have meant YMW Melly then.
No, he meant Melly Mel because number one, that's his rap name, Melly Mel, and two, because he's been in headlines for beef with Eminem, and he's also slandered Kendrick a little bit. And Kendrick's basically saying, look, I respect the rap game, but I respect it so much that even the greats can get it. Like it's like a lot like Control, where he was like, hey, I got love for y'all, but I'm trying to murder you. Like it was that same kind of sentiment, just said a little bit more aggressively this time.
Because that part is true. Again, from Cole's part and everything you're saying right now too, it wasn't like Kendrick had vicious bars for Cole.
Yeah. Even if Kendrick took it there, like Cole would have known, like he knows Kendrick. You know what I mean? Like
I took that as
an actual
YNW Melly.
Oh no.
So that way lessons.
Yeah. No, really the only bars that
maybe it was double entendre.
Was the
Because he crashing out because he was in the car too. The YNW Melly thing.
I mean, crash out's just a West Coast. I believe it's West Coast lingo. I mean, I've heard like people like Q and stuff say it, so I'm assuming it's a West Coast thing.
As in what?
But just like a crash out me like confrontational like battle type shit. Like I'll crash out over this. Like I'm willing to die over this shit. You know, like get violent basically.
Yeah.
And so like Cole.
Doing exactly what you said.
Cole is
you do all the time.
If it's going this way, just let Kendrick go there. Like that was my other part of it too, because again, it was the tone of what he was saying.
Oh my God,
it was
so
him being
disappointed.
him one thing to step out of it, but another thing to be like, you're great. I'm honored to be competing with your greatness, and you know what? I love you. I hope you didn't feel a type of way, but if you do, I got my chin up. Take your best shot. Like inviting.
But he could put that in a fucking song, bro, and it would have been better.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It would have came out better than like just.
And again,
because now he's on a list.
My thing is
with Macklemore.
Yeah.
Bowing down.
Lupe, J-Elec, like.
Yeah, bro. Like. I don't know, man.
Kendrick collecting apologies like Infinity Stones.
But that's what he did though. He just like related himself to like that.
Yeah, to that.
To people who aren't in the big three, people who aren't in that conversation, like he just knocked himself down a tier.
Which, by the way,
I think now it's time for Jid or someone to pop up.
Big three, I'm not going that far with it. To me, he's still third. It's just he's clearly going to always be.
He's
third.
Out, bro. I love J. Cole. That's the first concert I've ever been to, but like I came in like today. It all hit me when I was driving home today, and I was like. No, fuck no. Future, what?
But then who you?
Nobody's putting Future. We're putting actual rap. Like Jid would be the guy. You gotta get the catalog up.
Jid's a different era.
Future.
Jid's a different era. We're talking.
I'm not even talking about because even like right now, they're still the best three.
Yeah, they are. I agree.
Some say like Jid would be no. I'd move. Okay. Future ain't touching. So yeah, we're talking about like actual like rappers type shit.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about like the fall off even. Like I was driving today, stuck in whatever traffic was on there on the way home in '94, and I was like, damn, like I don't even like. I'm not even that hyped for the fall off right now either. Like I almost don't give a fuck what this guy has to say anymore because all his bars just feel empty now.
Yeah.
On top of the fact that on this album, and he says every once in a while, but and I get it too. Like I used to write rap, I used to perform and all that shit like that. It's kind of hard to not rap without putting like some of the nonsense in there. Talking about like the guns and shit like that. Yeah. There's a lot of those references in this album.
Yeah.
And he even said it at one point.
He's some of the best. He has some of the best gun
like,
bars ever.
Yeah.
His gun bars are
but
so clever.
He even said at one point, he's like, yo, I don't care that, but that shit was too hard not to say.
Yeah,
Shit like that.
That shit was crazy.
And I get that writing rap shit like that, but like that, obviously weren't feeling when he said it first of all because he's Mr. Preach Peace and all that stuff like that. And now everything he said beyond that, though, he did believe in him about
But
he just contradicts himself.
The difference is easy is you know that Cole's not getting violent off the mic. He's not Tupac.
But
he's not shooting someone. But like on record, you expected him to bring that ferocity, and this was a situation.
Let me
where
say
he
this
didn't
though, real quick. Him just contradicting himself as a whole, just not on the album itself. And by the way, phenomenal rap album. Just the words don't mean anything anymore. One, obviously the gun stuff that we were talking about. Two, he's Mr. Loyal to my wife, same girl, but he had bars about like threesomes or like fucking other bitches, shit like that, which you know he's not doing, or at least he says he's not doing. Like, which one is it? But again, when you're writing raps, that shit just comes up. And now the stuff that he did say you did buy into was I'm one of the best. No one wants to fuck with me. Everyone's scared of like I'm not backing down from no one-on-ones, all that shit like that. Now the shit that was real about it, that's gone now too.
Yeah.
And now it's like fuck, you really just rhyming shit.
I mean, though Cole's honesty, I think, will still find a way to connect with a lot of people because he is still, as we could tell, almost to a fault transparent level of transparency. So I think fans are going to be okay with that. But my whole point with this was, look, okay, if this was your strategy, if this was how you were feeling, wait for Kendrick to respond in a diss record. And then you can kind of play it out and be like, look, straight up, I feel like this was going to a different place.
Everything he said,
like
he even say make it a song, bro.
But he tapped out before Kendrick even responded. Like that was the thing. And you know what? And one of the things he accused Kendrick of on the record was clout chasing. Like, oh, this is clout chasing, blah blah, which I never bought into because like that is not a diss, it's a response. It is a diss, but it's a response first.
What, Kendrick?
Yeah, Kendrick responded to first-person shooter.
But first-person shooter wasn't any jabs at him.
Yes, it was.
It was not. J. Cole literally gave him a shout out.
The Spider-Man meme is me looking at Drake. Everybody's steppers and fucking everybody's breakfast. I'll clear out my plate. Bro. After your album's big step. Like, you're feeling a type of way.
He literally shouted him out. Like, that's like the most contradictory shit.
We started a league, but right now I feel like Muhammad Ali. All those are shots. And again,
those aren't shots. That's just rappers talking his shit, being confident himself. He literally gave a Big Three reference.
Yeah, but you know
K-Dot
what?
And me. Like,
but you know what? That's like me doing the Woodward Heavyweights without you. You're gonna feel a type of way. It's the SpongeBob. No. I said this on the pod. It's the SpongeBob meme where Squidward's inside looking out the window and SpongeBob and Patrick are running around, and Squidward's salty inside because he's just on the outside looking in. That's how Kendrick felt with first person shooter. Like, Kendrick was like, okay, like, you two are teaming up, and, like, I'm not there.
Bro,
like, that's automatically an insult. Yeah.
If anything, it's a jealousy thing of Cole hanging out with his friend hanging out with another friend.
But it's still
not, I wasn't there.
It's still interpreted as a shot. And so Kendrick responded. But either way,
shot,
either way, easy. What seems like more clout chasing? Kendrick's like that verse, or J. Cole putting out this diss record that's going to go number one, by the way, or might go number one, by the way, and then immediately saying, I want this taken off. I regret this. This was embarrassing. Within 48 hours.
I love you. I'm not going to say J. Cole's ever clout chasing.
I'm not saying it either, but I'm saying like even like his angle. So he questioned Kendrick's catalog. He literally went on a speech and said, Kendrick has a great catalog. Then he accused Kendrick of clout chasing. This looks like clout chasing even more, and I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying again the optics.
If somebody wants to say that, they could.
That's why I have an issue with how it was handled, because now you open yourself up to that kind of.
If you break bread on the beef, it's gonna make headlines regardless. I can't say it's clout chasing. I would allow anyone to say that, to be honest with you, just because like we're talking about a guy who literally is not even active on social media, and like if he broke bread with the beef, whenever it may have been, it would have made headlines regardless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can't really call it clout chasing, but no, you're right.
I'm not for the record either. I'm just saying, again, you open those up. Just like how, like, you saw Twitter ran with untrue narratives. Like, motherfuckers dissed To Pimp a Butterfly. Why? Because J. Cole questioned it. And now all of a sudden, all these people jumped out and called, yeah, that album sucks. It's like, really? It's the most critically acclaimed album in the last 25 years. So I don't think you guys are.
Yeah, the
think
Pimp
you're in the
Butterfly
minority.
didn't suck.
Yeah, it
That
didn't
was
suck.
not bad.
And again, I
Damn
won't go
wasn't
in my
bad
I
either.
won't go in my diatribe, but like you can. That's an album where even if it's not your thing, you can respect the artistry of it. Like
Yeah.
you can look at it from and be like, I'm not banging that, but you know what? That is a piece of art.
Yeah.
And just not be for me. You know.
That's like where like I was having conversations with myself really before it all obviously ended, where like I was really just trying to like I guess rank them in my head, and I've always, to be honest with you, had Kendrick number one, like still,
Yeah.
like just from the standpoint where like the artistry on top of the skill set, because he really could good kid, Mad City it probably every time if he wanted to,
Yeah.
but he's really just trying to express himself in different ways and whatever he may be feeling in that album, you know what I'm saying, and like that's one takes courage to do, especially like if it's you can just easily rap and put out fucking and make money, whatever. So for me, Kendrick still was number one from that aspect, but Cole was just. Again, from consistency, keep going, keep rapping.
And what he did
I don't
these
know, he
last
would ever
couple
would-
years,
would have
man, was
reached.
phenomenal, dog. Like it was,
Oh, man, the
dude.
features
You know,
are crazy.
you know how crazy. Like,
Features
and
are
again,
wild.
again, you came up in we came up in the same era of rap. Like we have like the same. We have difference of opinions, but we have the
Yeah.
same. We have a lot of the same general opinions and just knowledge. And it comes down to a lot of times the fact that like what Cole was doing, like. You're not actively following music the way I am these days, but those Cole features, like when I'd put them in the group chat, and because we talk music time to time, but like it's more like our music rather than like what's currently happening. Like you're not hitting me up being like, yo, what's the new Yeet album sounded like? But like when a Cole feature came, every time I threw that in the group chat,
Yeah,
or
'cause
you
top-
threw,
he was
or
top
you, or
three.
you even beat me to it, and was like,
Yeah.
it was like, yo, bro, this is insane. Like the run he was on was phenomenal. He separated himself. He finally, the reason why he was always third to me was because he was always the happy medium between Drake and Kendrick. He didn't do either as good as the other. He didn't make albums and conscious music as good as Kendrick, and he didn't make hits like Drake.
Yeah.
So he was always kind of caught in this like I'm in between, and then he finally found his lane. Kendrick was the album artist, Drake was the pop artist, but Cole was the rapper.
Yeah.
And he like when he unlocked that part of him,
Yeah.
I was like, bro, this is it. And now you found a way to be like to kind of manipulate the conversation, and with this beef, this was your chance to knock down that I'm third.
The thing too is like Jay is supposed to be like his idol, right? Like he, and we talked about it earlier a little bit too, but like the Nas stuff took place, but Jay and Nas have been taking it to like a place where back when people were getting shot too for bars, like back when motherfuckers were dying over bars, they still were able to like make peace on it, you know? And it's like your idol literally lived through that.
Yeah.
It's one of the most exciting times in rap. Like everybody is familiar with Ether, right? It's one of the most famous diss records of all time. They still made amends about it too. Like that's just like the other part. It's like that's your idol as well as an example of rap history.
You have
where
a
it's like,
perfect example of how things can still play out in the long term.
yeah.
And
if you're that nigga like that, bro, then like you fucking rap your ass off and your back's against the wall, like.
yeah.
But he bowed out.
Yeah,
It's
he
whatever.
bought it. And look, I don't want
As
to.
a fellow light skinned guy, I heard too. Like, you're not helping that narrative either, J. Cole. God
Yeah,
damn it.
hey, bro, I did see a lot of light skin tweets, but as a white boy, I couldn't comment on those. But
Oh,
I saw
man.
a lot of light skin, like assemble the troops, rally the troop type meetings. But
And Drake kind of is soft too.
which I'm not gonna lie, this played out the absolute best case scenario for Kendrick, like on so many levels, because not only do you have this ultimate trump card on Cole, who was we both will acknowledge Cole was lyrically at this point proven to be on record a better rapper, which doesn't mean that he was going to win the beef, because beef comes down to strategy and execution, and as you can see by strategy, Kendrick was probably going to win that way, but it was still a formidable opponent, and had me as a Kendrick guy a little nervous, a little on the ropes. But
Yeah, because that's a part two. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
but I'm saying, but now beating Cole this way, where Cole just tapped out, you have that's like a crazy flex. And then on top of that,
It makes me
on
sick,
top of that,
bro.
you didn't have to respond with a diss record. So now when Drake comes, Drake was sitting back, and the advantage Drake would have had by letting Cole go first was okay, how does Kendrick handle beef? Because Kendrick hasn't been in beef like that actually got to diss records. So now Kendrick didn't even have to show his hand now either. So now Drake's still in the dark. Drake's got to obviously be the next to reply. Kendrick can say something to Cole if he wants, or if he doesn't matter. But Kendrick's now in the front seat. He can sit back, and now the pressure's on Drake to respond, and Drake has to respond not knowing how Kendrick is going to respond. So, like, I feel like if this was betting and Kendrick was like a minus 110 favorite, now he's like a minus 450. It just put him in such an unbelievable driver's seat because, like, that's still threatening to go number one.
He's the Candyman.
Oh, he's Voldemort. He's Candyman. He's whatever you want to say. Like
Freddy and Jason.
I'm not versed in horror like that, but like all those worst monsters, that's him. Cause that's crazy, dog. How you get all these rappers apologizing to you?
Well, half them. Listen. I know a lot of people hold Lupe Fiasco in high regard. Yeah. I don't.
Lupe went to Twitter, by the way, to say he wasn't that. Hey, I don't fear nobody, and it's just like okay. But,
exactly. Don't give a fuck about Lupe.
Yeah.
All due respect to Lupe.
Yeah. Great artist.
Who else was in there? Macklemore.
Yeah. Jay Leck.
Okay. Don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Right off rip. Fucking, I do gotta check out that Jay Leck album though with Jay. I do gotta check that out. But
Jay Leck is the most overhyped artist, bro.
Thank you.
I can't he just raps like this biblical shit, and then it just makes you feel like, oh my god,
smart.
Like this guy's a prophet. Yeah, he's just smart. He's just using like scriptures and shit like to his advantage. Like he's not actually.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Those are all guys we don't give a fuck about, and I feel like Cole just categorized them along.
Yeah, because Cole could have been the one where it's like, oh. Like, this is the one where it's like, oh, Kendrick, you can't play with this one.
And the other thing, too, with, like, even you mentioned with the Drake stuff, is, like, as much as J. Cole don't give a fuck, enough for him to go out there and speak his truth, because he's, like, pure. Kendrick's that same way, too. We just talked about with his albums. Like, he ventured out to go and do what he wanted to. Like, he only comes out when he wants to come out. Like, but he still holds that crown.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's how fucking good he is. So he don't even have to, like Drake don't know when the next shot's coming. You know what I'm saying? He really don't. It's always gonna come out of left field because Drake can say some shit and Kendrick can just still wait like fucking 2 years. Like, I feel like dropping some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or just the next feature, like, who knows, man? He is the best though right now.
It's tough, man. I'm not gonna lie. Drake is in a very, very tough position because he has to be smart with his response and he is almost like this Cole thing was
he don't want it with Kendrick, bro. He don't. I mean, just even if he wanted it with Kendrick, he don't want it with Kendrick. Kendrick would fucking. That's another thing. Again, love Drake. These are my top three, by the way. J. Cole, Kendrick, and Drake. My top three. Nobody's on Kendrick's level with that shit because we're not buying Drake's tough bars either.
Yeah,
motherfucker, you grew up on the grassy.
And also, you lost a Pusha T, so your mob ties shit. Like Pusha T tweeted this weekend, they said how Pusha T never get a finger even a finger laid on him or some shit like that, and Push quoted it and said my pinky wasn't even touched. Like, and Drake is on every record talking about mob ties, which again we all know as rappers, like they all glorify like that part of it, that tough guy persona. Like they all obviously exaggerate that, like just Cole with the gun bars, whatever. But it's like Kendrick's the only one where it's like, when Kendrick talks tough, like he hasn't given us a reason to doubt it yet.
Well, the other thing too, Kendrick's also signed. Kendrick was Top Dog. Top Dog is actually G. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, formally.
Formally, yeah. But still,
they were having memes. Top Dog's son actually put out this video. That's tweeted this video after J. Cole posted that. It was that song. Too late to apologize, and I'm like, oh man, what does
Top
he
Dog
know?
Put that up?
Yeah, Top Dog's son.
Oh man, yeah, that's the part too, man. Like,
so I don't know if that.
Like Kendrick's the only one holding like real heat with the Top Dog camp. Schoolboy Q, obviously, like there's some real motherfuckers. Like where, as much as I love Wayne too, when that shit happened with Young Thug and nothing came of it, no response, no one touched, and then his shit got shot up.
Yeah, there was that. Yeah.
He's not what he said he is in the raps. Yeah. But it makes sense. He got into music early as fuck.
It's also just disappointing because again, we as fans, I think the clear-minded fan was looking at this as this was never going to get dangerous. This was never going to get crazy. This was always just going to be respectful, like bars and rapping. And also, this is something we waited 10 years for, and it felt like it was finally going to happen. And then again, Cole versus Kendrick, I think could have everybody's got their eye on Kendrick versus Drake because that is 1 and 2. But I think there's a world in which Cole versus Kendrick would have been more interesting to like the rap nerds, like because that's the more
that's
like,
the rap. That's the rap one. Yeah, exactly what I'm saying too. Like Drake could have said some shit back. No one's Drake lost that. Drake, no one's taking you. I love you, Drake. Phenomenal artist, but no one's taking any of that shit serious. Mm-hmm. We all know Kendrick. All due respect to Drake, again, rap circles, in my opinion, around Drake in terms of like rapping.
I just think Kendrick's willing to take it where Drake and Cole and clearly Cole aren't, and I think that's his biggest advantage.
And you believe him too.
I mean, Kendrick is just so smart with, and he's so good at creating moments. That was his advantage. Like Drake's advantage was going pop, but the thing is Kendrick can make a hit record too. So like you can't like if Drake back to backs Kendrick come with a back to back that also has like he did Like That, which is 2 weeks number 1, maybe now 3. Like,
well, actually, no. Now he's got him in his camp too, for sure. Well, I was gonna say because that was really fucking.
I mean, it obviously Future and Metro help.
Yeah,
like,
Metro.
Of course. Like, but Kendrick's
that's a recipe for success.
But Kendrick's from LA. He can get Hit Boy.
Yeah, no, he can get anything.
He can get Hit Boy, who's one of the best, if not the best producer in the game right now.
So bro, it doesn't even matter. He could
and just do a soul record. So like Kendrick like doesn't necessarily like. I'm not saying Metro and Future obviously helped the song.
Yeah,
but Kendrick could do that regardless. Like Kendrick could. You know, Kendrick did Humble. You know, what I mean? You can't do the hit thing with him, or if you can, you got to make sure that you do it to a level where Kendrick can't reach, which Kendrick's shown to get number 1s. So you can't do that. And then Kendrick's shown that creative ability to just say those things that just or attack that angle, that perspective that like nobody saw coming. So Drake is in a tough spot, man. He really is. I think he's got to respond now. I think Cole bowing out even puts more pressure on Drake to not only respond but to respond with veg. Because if Drake bows out too, like I'm sorry, you can have your favorite artist, but you can't ever objectively say Kendrick's not number 1. Like
he's number 1. If he is number 1.
If he gets both of them to quit before it even starts, like you can say you like Drake better, you can say you like Cole's music better. That's fine. Everybody music is subjective. But like when you're talking about the talent of the artist and the overall package, you could not say Kendrick isn't number 1.
It's been that way for me.
And if Drake beats Kendrick somehow, then it's going to be tough for a lot of people to say Kendrick's number 1.
Listen, because it's been that way for me forever. Just one. I mean, Kendrick he's a better rapper, bro, than both of them. In terms of just like topicality, flow. I mean, everything you want to throw in there, like Kendrick just has had over them for forever. And then obviously he doing the extremes with like the artistry and whatnot. He's just been the best. He just always has been. Drake kind of bowed out of the first person shooter thing with J. Cole. They did do that other one though.
Yeah, Evil Ways, which credit to Drake. He's one of the only people that stepped to Cole lyrically.
Yeah.
Like
he did his thing for sure.
Yeah, and he did his thing.
But the other thing too that Drake has along with him in his catalog is like that one song, Who Do You Love? Who had
YG
jocked the whole fucking verse from whoever from the 80s. Obviously, all his ghostwriting stuff that he's already been accused of. The flow biting shit. Like, Drake, phenomenal artist, but he's not, like, Kendrick's authentic.
Yeah.
Everything Kendrick's coming with and having success with is Kendrick. And you could tell there's some influences in there, yeah. But Drake is biting shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, straight up. Like, it's just what he's doing. Even on the album with 21.
But Drake has interesting angles he can attack Kendrick on.
Like what?
He can attack Kendrick
just
on the fact
sales,
that he brought
really.
Sales, obviously. That's going to always be something that Drake talks about because he is the numbers guy. But then on top of that, he brought out Kendrick for his first tour and also put him on Take Care on the interlude. So he's going to be like the You My Son thing. And secretly, Drake has kind of put on more West Coast artists than Kendrick. Well, at least publicly, like through records. Like people have always said that Kendrick is like very like supportive of a lot of artists behind the scenes. I don't know that to be true or false, but at least like Draco the Ruler, like Drake has partnered with like a lot of West Coast. A lot. He gave YG multiple features.
But he's like using them though.
Oh yeah, no,
Jay-Z low-key did the same shit too.
But again, a diss record, as you can see, is about narrative. Like Cole said, Cole somehow spin people into questioning Kendrick's catalog, which was something I thought was never going to come into question.
To
so
be
a
fair,
diss record is, shout out to Rob Markman, he made this point. Like, a diss record is about taking a perception and twisting it enough to create question. Mm-hmm. And, like, so Drake can question, like, he can question Kendrick's kind of LA thing. Another thing, too, is that Drake shouted out Baby Keem before Kendrick started really working with Keem. At least I believe that in my timeline, that's the knowledge.
Aren't they actual cousins?
Yeah. But Keem and Kendrick said that they had some type of family issue where they weren't, they knew of each other, but they didn't necessarily, not that they had problems with each other, but they, through family dynamics, like, weren't really associated with each other. And then something tragic happened in the family that kind of brought them together. And that's like, but like Drake can claim that, like, hey, like, you know, like, I was kind of like on the Baby Keem way before you. Like, again, it's about taking a truth and manipulating it just enough to kind of create doubt, create controversy, and then let Twitter, the cesspool that it is, run with it. You know, so like Drake can do those things. Like, I think that's why Baby Keem wasn't on What's Next, because he was supposed to be on What's Next, but he wasn't. And that's because I think Kendrick probably pulled the plug because if Baby Keem's first #1 would have been a record with Drake and not Kendrick, which ended up being a couple months later with Family Ties, like, Drake could forever hold that over Kendrick. Talk about family ties, but I gave your cousin, like, his first #1. Like, you know Drake's going to say some shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, so Drake has some angles to attack. And, again, Kendrick's, like, all of his narrative basis is like how good of a person he is and all that. Even though Mr. Morale kind of shattered that, but like he controlled the way that narrative changed. So if you get people questioning, oh, is Kendrick a good person or not? Like, again, things can go dicey. So Drake, it's not impossible, but that's why I thought Cole was going to be interesting, because Cole can rap very well, but I just didn't know if he was going to attack with the right ferocity, and he didn't on 7-Minute Drill, and then he does this, and now look, this looks like Kendrick could just be a bully and say something, or he doesn't have to say anything. He's in total control to do whatever he wants, and whatever he wants will be accepted. Because if he disses Cole literally said it's okay. So, like, people can't even get mad at him.
I'm glad this happened, though. I'm in this conversation at least. Maybe I go back to listen to J. Cole after this. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe I just got it all off my chest.
I thought it was weird that you brought up that point, because I didn't think about it until then. I was jamming that album all weekend. I haven't touched it today.
Right.
I've listened to
literally all weekend.
I've listened to other things.
Even the one that I was skipping, but I realized it's a lot shorter than I originally thought, was The Fever.
Yeah.
But he did his thing on that too. But I just didn't touch it at all today, at all. And same thing, all weekend. To drop. That's the reason I was really late for opening day. I was up all night listening to the album twice that night.
That's what you're telling me.
Dead ass. I'm not even joking. I listened to the album twice that night.
Yeah, that was.
I was just so happy, bro, for like Cole, because it was just genius to like manipulate that into like some sales for himself too.
Yeah.
Because he dropped the whole project along with it. You know what I'm saying?
I was getting mad at him because bro just keeps making up albums. He keeps going, all right, The Fall is my next album. And he keeps just making up albums to drop. It's like, bro, just stop detoxing this shit and drop it.
I really hope, for Cole's sake, that
you might need to rename that album The Fall Off.
That's the other part too, man.
That might be a little too on the nose.
Really though, yes, bro.
Because I
hope for Cole's sake, Kendrick plays nice and recognizes that like Cole's been real to him, even on the first push shooter, gave him the shout out, got in the scuffle with Diddy for him. Like, I guess that's my only hope.
Yeah. I don't know. Kendrick's been known to look. Kendrick's my guy. He's my favorite of the three. But he's like, there's times when you look at him, you're like,
he
kind of an asshole.
No, for sure. Listen, even in that verse, he admits he's got problems.
Yeah,
I still got PTSD. Nigga, boom. And we know he has his faults. Damn, you really learned that about him. Like, I remember, like, what's the one where he's drinking?
Oh, you?
Yeah.
To Pimp Butterfly. Yeah.
And talking about his depression, shit like that. Like, but it's like, because we've always looked at him as like the messiah of rap, kind of, for me at least, and like for him to be that vulnerable and like, damn, like he is human, you know what I'm saying? And then even more so, obviously,
on the new one, on Mr. Morale,
and then a lot of people even miss that shit. You really have to listen to like the lyrics and let that one digest, because he's that much of an artist where you have to slowly peel back certain meanings of certain shit. You know what I'm saying? And like that's the cool part too is like it have double meanings as well that leaves you stuck.
Yeah. And he can somehow talk about himself, but it also so much relates to the world too. Like
yeah.
Again, I want to make this love fest because this is a J. Cole video. But man, it's tough, man. Like I said, at the end of the day, I wanted the battle between the big three. Mm-hmm. This was it.
Really,
the
big two, like you said, though. Like those were the ones we wanted to see.
Yeah, that's the ones we wanted to see. But Cole did so much these last couple of years that I'm like, you know what? I'm actually really okay with Cole being in this too. Yeah. Like. I was kind of worried because I'm like, okay, now there's like Cole.
Oh no, that's what I meant for my big two. Those are only two.
Yeah,
because Drake's gonna drop his little subtle shit. That's what he's probably gonna do with this too.
I think he's gonna come direct this time because I think he really is put in a situation where he can't not do the Drake thing and bow out. Maybe he can because again he's Drake superstar wise, but like at the end of the day, I felt like in everybody that is really connected in the industry and the Rob Markmans, the Joe Buttons and all of them are even saying Drake's got to respond. And I'm just like, yeah, like he hasn't before, but I don't know. I bought into the idea that Drake has to respond. So I'm still holding out hope because if this is like ultimate blue balls, if Drake tucks his tail too, then I'm just like, God damn. Like, I've been waiting years for this.
Yeah.
You know how excited I had given up.
But we know Kid is going to son him regardless.
I know, but
that's why the J. Cole one was the interesting one.
I had given up years ago that any of this shit was ever going to happen. Do you know how excited I was when I was drunk as fuck in Mexico having the time of my life and I'm hearing this shit and I'm just like, oh my God.
Oh, like that goes so fucking tough,
dog. I never want to take a vacation again, God damn it, bro. I fucking go on vacation the one week where that shit drops.
Maybe you go on vacation more.
No, fuck that. Because, bro, this is my time. Like, I'm trying
just record yourself.
Trying to grow a channel here. Like, as you can see, it's just like, yeah, you're right. See, this is why Easy's my guy. Because he'll always, whenever I come up with an excuse, Easy will hit me with some shit and be like, and then I'll be like, damn, you're right. I do just got to figure this shit out, huh? But
that's fair. I need it easy. I be making excuses for myself too.
But man, I appreciate you coming on.
For sure.
This
Emergency pod.
Yeah, this though. I had to get these thoughts out there. I'm just really excited to see what's next in this beef. I want to see what's next. I want to see how Kendrick handles it. I want to see how Drake handles it. And I really wonder how long this like kind of cloud is gonna hang over J. Cole for me. Like, am I gonna in a couple weeks be able to listen to J. Cole again and like kind of maybe not the same level, but like I'm just really curious.
So sick.
I'm curious to see how a couple weeks later, like, let the dust settle.
Oh, I feel like J. Cole died, bro. I feel like he's oh my God.
It's tough, man. It's
I'm gonna try to listen on the way home. I'm genuinely sad, bro. I love J. Cole.
Yeah.
I love J. Cole.
I know, man. It's gonna be interesting, but
it's even cooler with these guys because, like you said, we were from like the same era. We got to watch them from like freshman albums, like to these legends that we thought they were or would become, you know. Because we've been one of our favorites. Yeah, you know. Fuck.
And again, he's talking like he was in his prime and all that shit.
Only dude I put out there that I think could match Kendrick. And I don't know what the situation is, and you actually could tell me. I said it already before on the pod, but Jid.
Well, Jid bowed out after I'm convinced after he saw our tweet. But like, no, I think he.
What did he say?
I don't think he just said stop trying to make shit like that's not real.
Like a tweet or like
like he tweeted it. He tweeted it right after we post our thing got some traction. So I think I think that'd
be the only one. And
the
only
argument. I've always said this.
Yeah.
He's a better bar for bar rapper than Kendrick, and I think he's a better singer than Kendrick. So I think that's no question.
Sure.
So like
he's the only one.
Put together the melody and like.
But isn't he older or like just the same age or some shit?
He's not the same age, but he's like 30. He's a lot older than people think.
Yeah.
Like you would think he's 24, 26.
That's why I want him to get his shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Someone like him, like.
But he's talented. He's talented, man. I'm telling you what, good. if he delivers, he just said he turned in his album. Speaking of, and if we get that soon, and it's on the level of the Forever Story, his last album, then like he's gonna quickly enter some new conversations, some new territory. So
Ooh.
I'm excited for him. I don't think he gets involved because, again, at the end of the day, I think what made this special was it's this era battling each other.
Yeah.
Like these were
It
the
was
guys
the
that,
big three.
This was the guys that we wanted to clash. That we had, think of all the hours we had debates in our cars or at our homie's crib about like who's better. Like
Yeah.
all those like countless like.
We all knew in the back of our head that was Kendrick. At least me.
I mean, that's how I felt. But like, you talked to a lot of people, and a lot of people didn't feel those ways. So it just felt like this was our moment that we. And I don't like to say like we're owed anything because we're fans. At the end of the day, like you don't owe us shit. You're a human being too. These artists, but like this was the one. It was like, oh, this is like we're finally getting this. Like yes, and so to not get it, man, it did hurt, but. EZ, you're my guy. Appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you for having me.
One half of the Woodward Heavyweights in the building.
Yes,
My
sir.
dog. We got to do this again, man. I mean, you're right around the corner.
Yeah, I know.
And we'll do some more, and we'll even do some sports shit from here to here. I said this. I want this house to be like the. And when I move and get my own studio, like I want to make this shit the Dungeon family. Where it's like everybody just comes through, records, and like fuck it, like whatever, like make this a space where it's like we could just all constantly create, because that's when I'm at my most creative, and I want to build something where like we can all just like have the homies pull up on a Tuesday night when we're not doing shit and just, you know what, fuck it, let's record some shit, or a Saturday afternoon when it's like we're all done with our weekday shows, like let's just do some shit, so. Let's do some more of that. But let us know in the comments below what you think of J. Cole apologizing. What do you think of the beef? Where does this leave Kendrick? Where does this leave Drake? What does this do to J. Cole's legacy? Stay tuned later this week. We will have some more videos coming out. We have good artists with bad albums. That was a very fun conversation, in honor of Chance. And then we will have the episode later this week, which may feature another special guest and more. So stay tuned. Subscribe to Rap Cave Podcast. Give us a like. Comment on the video what you want to see next. And also follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Help us grow. Once we get more of a community here, we'll get to know what you want, because that's all I want to do is give the people what they want with these conversations here. So let us know. We appreciate you. Catch you on the next one. Peace.